Okay, so let's take a look at these problems here. The first one says find the perimeter and area of the square shown below. Each unit on the graph measures 1 meter. So we're working in meters. It is a square. We know it's a square because of the marks indicating that each of the sides is congruent and the right angle mark at each of the corners. So we know we've got a square, which means that all we have to do is find the distance of one of the side lengths, and we can find the area and the perimeter. So I've got the distance formula. I've set it up. So my changes in my x and the changes in my y's. So 10 minus 7 is 3. 5 minus 9 is negative 4. 3 squared is 9. Negative 4 squared is 16. 9 and 16 is 25. So the side length of our square is 5. Now for the perimeter, remember we're going to add up all four sides. All right, so 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, or you can think of it as 4 times 5, which is 20. And we're working in meters, so it's going to be 20 meters all the way around the outside of this part. Then for the area, that's going to be side times side, length times width. So 5 times 5, which is 25. And again, we're working in meters, and area is always squared. So the answer is going to be A, 20 meters and 25 meters squared. Questions on that? Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next one, which is about the circle. And it wants us to find the circumference and the area, which is just, again, fancy way of saying perimeter and area for our circle. Each unit is 1 centimeter. We're going to round to the nearest tenth if necessary. Now, we could use this point here, negative 3, 1, and this point here, 0, negative 6, to find the distance, to figure out what our radius is. But we can also kind of cheat and count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. Right? Or you can go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. Okay. Using the distance formula would be the most accurate way to do it, but we can get a really good estimation here by saying that it's going to be 7.5 for the radius. So circumference and area both take radius. So we're going to plug in 7.5 for R into both of our formulas to find our answers here. So 2 times pi times 7.5, which is 15 pi. And when we put that into our calculator, 15 times pi, that gives us 47.1238898. So going to the nearest tenth, we're going to say 47.1 centimeters. Over here for the area, it's going to be pi times 7.5 squared, which I don't know what 7.5 squared off the top of my head is. So 56.25 times pi, which is 176.714, so 0.7 centimeters squared, because area is always squared. And one of the things that you can do to help you remember the formulas for circumference and area is always squared. So pi r squared, that is your area. Circumference is not squared. That's why the 2 is not in the exponent. Questions? Okay, let's look at the next one, the last one here. Find the perimeter and area of the triangle. Each unit on the graph is 1 inch, round to the nearest tenth if necessary. All right, so perimeter, that's just adding up all the sides. So we have to figure out what the length of each side is. Area is 1/2 base times height. There's a couple different ways that we can find the lengths that we need. So the height is this distance here. We can just count that out, 1, 2, 3. The base, that's going to be this distance here. We can count that out again. So we got 5 plus 4, that's 9. But we also need this length and this length for perimeter. And so what we're going to do, we can use the distance formula or we can use the Pythagorean theorem since we have 2 right triangles here and here, right? So we can use 3 squared plus 4 squared to get us this length, and then we can use 3 squared and 5 squared to get us this one. So go ahead and do that first for you. So 3 squared, that's 9, 4 squared, that's 16, right? So that's 25, which the square root of 25 is 5. So we know that the distance from F to E is 5. All right, so there's one of our distances for perimeter. We already had the other one that was 9, right? This one's 9. This one's 5. Then here we've got 9 plus 25, right? Because 3 squared is 9, 5 squared is 25. So that gives us the square root of 34, which is, square root of 34 is 5.83. So I'm going to say 5.8. So we're going to add all of those up to get the perimeter of our triangle, which is going to be 19.8 inches. I'm going to plug in 3 for the height and 9 for the base into the area formula. 1/2 base times height. 1/2 base times height. And that gives me 13.5. And we're inches squared because it is area. Questions on that one? Okay. Moving on to our next thing then.